Except to a third party.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the World of Ability podcast. This is a special treat because I have not been here doing this one for a little while. And just checking my other screen here because I think I actually have to. There we go. I had to fix my sound. So
you were just talking about
it. We were just talking about the sound. I've got the best guest joining me today. I'm just bringing him on in. Derek is awesome. He's here often, and I have not gotten to catch up with Derek in a while. I don't know what happened to my spotlight.
I don't know. I'm okay. You looking at, there we go. Yeah, I was really big. It scared me.
How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. The house is falling apart, but I'm staying together. So that's good.
That's good. You know, things that make you stronger, right?
Yeah. But I was watching. I think it was Ability Mike, and then not having you around here, I just realized how great at this you are. Like, you just have the perfect energy for this. And I haven't popped in, but I've been watching the YouTube broadcast. So, by the way, because you did ask the question the other day, best candy bar, Snickers. It's just a good go-to.
At least you're a little nuts, you know. There you go. He's going for the nuts.
So it's yeah, and then with the nuts, you can kind of trick yourself into thinking, well, no, this is good for me, right? It's
in there.
It's nuts. Yeah. Same with payday, right? It's just peanuts held together by caramel, but we don't need to talk about that.
It's all part of the package.
Yeah. And we found an event today. So we made, I guess it's like food historians. And so we made a recipe from 1860 of cornmeal, not exactly cornbread, but cornmeal biscuits. And so that's what we were up to this morning. It was kind of fun. And they gave the history and all kinds of stuff.
So where did you come up with that?
Well, I was just cruise events on the internet to stay busy. So I just saw that and signed up, and and then they showed the original recipe, and that was fun too, because it's not like how we see recipes, like quarter cup of this. It was add eggs to little pan.
Add eggs.
How many eggs?
How many eggs? Isn't that a piece of puzzle here?
No, but it turned out okay. They were delicious. They were different though. And it made we had a conversation about how our palates these days are just so used to sugar. Because that was our comment on having them. Like, they're good, but they could use some sugar. And it's like, oh, it's because they didn't put a pound of sugar and everything like we do.
Mm-hmm. And we're all addicted to all the sweet things and
yeah.
sweet stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do not judge me.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got mine.
Oh, we match. Oh.
No product placement or anything, huh?
Not bad. Not at all. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I think we don't even know how addicted we are to the sweets and all the things that have come our way. I hear often, I have no real personal knowledge necessarily, but I hear often things that are commonplace to eat and be available in stores here, like other countries ban that stuff. Like, there's probably a good reason why they are. Maybe we should take a hint in there somewhere.
Yeah. That's and I'm just a big addict with it too, because if I can get myself to just do like salads and healthy stuff, like I love it. But it just takes one. Hey, I'm just gonna grab something really quick. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Takes one burger, and then I'll just have another and another and another and another.
Even on the way home today. So we were at a meeting earlier today, actually in person. It's been a while since I've been to an in-person anything. So feeling all special. That was awesome. It was supposed to go longer than it did. All good. The schedule changed, things changed. It's all good. If that hadn't changed, I would not literally be sitting here right now. I would not be home yet. So there's a reason for things, right? But on the way there, we drove by one of our favorite places. Culver's is our weakness. So I don't
Yes,
care if Culver's not by you.
we do, and they're so good.
It, so we don't always stop. We go by there pretty often, but literally my favoriteest ever flavor was what they had on the board today. So we're on our way home. Our timeline had changed. Like, okay, I don't feel like making food right now. We got things going on. We're hitting the drive-through. That is like these butter burgers. Is there something about that? It's so good because of what it is, but it is. Yeah, I don't think it's probably our best choice if we're having that often.
So one time we went, because we do have Culver's out here, thank goodness. Cheese curds. And the wife ended up getting sick. And she's like, I don't know why. I'm like, so what did you order? And think about what you ordered and whether that's a good combination to order. It's like, well, I had the walleye. I'm like, and oh, the cookies and cream shake. I'm like, does that sound like a combination that goes together?
Just because it's good for the tongue doesn't mean the rest of the system is going to be happy with it later.
So now I always tease her. I'm like, do you want the Oreo crusted walleye? But
oh. Ooh, yeah, some combinations are not.
Yeah.
And separately, those are fabulous.
Yes, separately. Together, there's no.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. I'm just thinking a little bit of newsy stuff on our end. So our daughter actually is in a really cool club at school.
Oh, what club is that?
And it's all about like healthcare careers, kind of.
Oh, okay.
The acronym doesn't stand for what it stood for all those years ago when they named it. So it's just like future healthcare worker type. And she doesn't even know she's going into healthcare, but she likes the club and she's enjoying it. And they have a competition that they do every year. And she teamed up with a couple friends, and their thing is actually rather involved. So right before the holiday break, they had to put together this whole presentation on something. They came up with body image. So their presentation was on body image. And so they're high schoolers. They had to go and do this presentation, taking an entire class time period of 8th graders.
Oh, no.
That's a challenging audience, right?
Right.
It sounds like they did amazing. It went great. The students participated. They had some games they did. So, and that was like part one of what this competition thing was they had to put together the whole thing, go do their presentation, and then now, like in about 2 hours, they'll be in front of a judge or a panel of judges. I'm not even sure how many there are, and they've had to put together the presentation and the presentation type of thing. Like they're not doing the presentation that they did, but they're giving the review of how did it go, and doing kind of an overall view of what happened. And there's criteria. I don't know what that all is, but there's things that they had to include. So now they're going to be presenting to judges this afternoon, and I am so excited for them. They're working well together, and like this kind of thing, it's really cool. If they do well enough, they'll go to a state competition in a couple months.
Oh, wow.
They potentially could go to a national competition. I think it's in Nashville this year. And she's open. She would like to go. So I love that kind of stuff exists.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of, because when we're 5 and they do the, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like doctor, lawyer, firefighter.
Yep.
Like, there's so much out there. And at our school, we teach the high school kids that. Like a lot of them too are the kids who didn't fit into regular schools, but they have a gift. They just haven't found it. And a lot of times they're really great at sales. And like insurance is huge in this country. And so we're like, hey, for $500, you can start your own business. And they get excited. And it's like, and they're good at it. They're like, hey, teach us something and we'll go out and we'll sell it.
That's so cool. I love that. For anybody who might be listening that's not familiar with the school, tell us a little bit more about what you guys all have for the school there.
Yeah, so it's Chloe Preparatory Academy. We're located in Tucson, Arizona, but we do work with students nationwide. We have quite a few students in Massachusetts, actually. We are a high school business school. We're a private school. If you are in Arizona, you can get 90% of your tuition paid. But even then, we're pretty cheap. We're $3,000 a year. So we're still pretty affordable. And we just work with our students to find out kind of what makes them happy, what's going to spark their interest. Because once we can get their interest sparked, they will do the math, they will do the reading, they will do all the stuff because they're excited. And you know, the example I love using is we were having a chemistry class one time, and I was teaching it. I don't know anything about chemistry. So it's one of those learn the day before so you can pretend like you know. And one of the students brought up something he saw on Wikipedia about astronomy. And it's like, okay, no one's paying attention to chemistry. Let's stop. Let's switch to astronomy. And in Tucson, we're an astronomy town. We have a lot of telescopes out here. University of Arizona is big on astronomy. So we have access to some really cool stuff. And so they became very interested in like astronomy. And actually we partnered with a nonprofit here called Reach for the Stars, which does a lot of astronomy for children to help them with their mental health struggles. And so we were just going out on weekends, looking at the stars, and I didn't do anything. Like the kids are telling me about stuff because they were just excited. And so then we just changed the other classes. So their English papers were on astronomy. Astronomy is math based, so now we're doing math. We're just, and they were including, yeah, they were just doing the things. Because I mean, I found that if you can tie the abstract stuff to something concrete, students become interested. It's just when we keep it very abstract and just do like, and as a math teacher, I really hate word problems because they're just so ridiculous. You know, I always remember being in math and it was doing like the parabola, your friend jumps off a cliff at a certain rate and blah blah blah. And I remember complaining about the problem because I didn't like it. And they're like, well, wouldn't you want to know how quickly your friend hit the water? I'm like, if my friend's jumping off the cliff, I don't care. Like, I care. No, that's his choice. That's just bad decision.
Exactly.
And no, I don't
There's
care.
another level of conversation that needs to be taking place there.
Yeah, yeah.
Which,
But we've taught, I don't know, we've taught card counting and probability using gambling, that the students gamble with their grades. And I remember one semester at the end of the year, I asked, what did you learn this semester? One of the students is like, the house always wins. And I'm like, you know what? As far as a life lesson, that is good for you to learn that. I'm like,
beautiful.
Yeah. There's a reason Vegas is so big and rich.
Yeah, they don't make those big buildings gorgeous and all the things because they're losing.
Yeah, yeah. So we try to have fun, and I think the key word that we have is wonder. Like, let's just bring in the wonder. Speaking of wonder.
Speaking of wonder, I see the lovely Marianne of Waikiki is joining us here. How are you today? So you are out on a boat. Oh my gosh, she is living her best life on a boat. I love it. So here, actually, let me just hold on. You're still muted here. There you go.
Hold on, from San Carlos, Mexico. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, from San Carlos, Mexico. We had a really chilly day yesterday, a wind chill. We all had to stay inside. It was crazy cold down here, but we're back on the water. And want to just give a big thanks for having this World of Ability podcast. Ironically, the song is Smoke on the Water, Fire in the Sky is playing. And I'm sharing my top friend that I interpreted for 10 years is in San Diego, California. So this week, 2 days ago, I contacted him. I said, if you need You can find a place. You know, you get on the 2 Festa bus, come down to Wyoming, San Carlos, Mexico. We'll pick you up on the bus. Don't think twice. Call the bank. Make sure that you can get your visa, your passport, and you tell your bank that you need international travel because it's an emergency and your sign language interpreter is down here. I have a room available for him. My landlord has a room available for her. So prayers and shouts out to everybody in California. Ironically, the song is called Smoke on the Water, Fire in the Sky while I'm talking right now. And we're having clear skies here in San Carlos. So the universe wanted me to talk about that. So thank you, sign language interpreters, for doing your job, doing your amazing job out there. These firefighters, we heard that the Mexican fire department brought up 100 Mexican fire.
Something I can't hear.
Yeah, neither can I.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I can't hear.
Giving, extra support, food, shelter, water, whatever these people need during these times of the price for the California fires. And thank you for having me on the World of Abilities. Today is January 11th, another spiritual portal opening. We are still celebrating underwater acts of kindness. It's whale watching season. And I know Derek has a whale puppet. And we want to thank our military families too, with the General of the New Earth Army. We're having a follow up because that place gave us a 3-day, 37-hour fundraiser. And you can download my book, Underwater Acts of Kindness, for free. So in February, we're going to be reviewing that and we talk the story of that. Oh, thank you. He's turning down the music for me so I can speak here. But also, too, it is the spirit of the games. So we want to focus on our athletes that are going to be up there in Vancouver and with Jay Stoyan. So we want to hear about that in the next month and find out who the athletes are. What are they doing? What are the sports? How did this all start? So there's a lot of probing questions, too, with the World of Ability that can bring us to us on the Saturday of the World of Ability podcast. So thank you so much for having me here. I'm Marianne of Waikiki. Now we have a new website. It's www.actsofkindnessseries.com. We have a new Shopify account so you can purchase those t-shirts to go with characters. And we are going to be launching on World Water Day, Cool Acts of Kindness. That's March 22nd, 2025 with Clean Water Foundation, Leanne McLaughlin will be joining us. Okay, so go out, play as our tagline, and play Love is the Only Way at the end of this song. Take an intermittent break and play Yes I Can, because here I am. Anyway, aloha, I'm Marianne of Waikiki.
Bringing in a bit of that warmth our way. I love it because it is a little chilly here. We're in Wisconsin. You're coming in from Arizona. She's all the way down in Mexico. And oh my gosh, it's amazing that we can be so far away yet so close. And I'm still getting that warmth because I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt right now because it's a little chilly here. I think I'm
sitting here in a sweatshirt too because it's chilly for us at 50 degrees.
Yeah, it's 29 here. Actually, 29 feels good compared to what it's been recently.
So what's going on in Vancouver? I have no idea. I'm clueless.
So the Invictus Games. Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
That would be worth actually pulling up a visual on that one because there's a lot of cool stuff going on in only a month from now. So Invictus Games 2025 will be in Vancouver, Whistler. Let's see here. Hold on. I will share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing here. I'm sharing the right thing. There we go. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so starting February 8th, it goes from the 8th through the 16th, and I'm going to read what's on the screen here just so people can for sure get this. So the Invictus Games in Vancouver, Whistler 2025 will offer a global platform to expand the range and profile of winter adaptive sports.
Oh,
with deep respect. I'm also pleased to share that the Games in Canada will be held in partnership with the First Nations in the spirit of truth and reconciliation with Indigenous communities. And that is a quote from Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. So he actually is the guy who has been involved in this since day one with actually creating the Invictus Games. They have been held in, let's see, here we go, in other locations over the years. If I can get this to slide, here we go. So it goes back to, I believe this London one was the very first one, London in 2014. They were in Toronto in 2017. These are not in order. Orlando was 2016, 2017 Toronto, Sydney in 2018. And then jump ahead here to 2020. I do not know where The Hague is.
Somewhere Eastern Europe-ish.
That's kind of what I'm picturing. If that's Denmark, I don't know. I'll click on that in just a second here. We'll find out.
I went to public school in the United States. I have no idea where anything is other than us.
Calling it out. I hear you. So the last one was in Dusseldorf. I happen to know that one's in Germany. It is coming up here in just over a month in Vancouver. And looking ahead here, I wonder if this is telling us that 2026 maybe doesn't have a spot, or maybe they're only doing it every other year now. I'm not sure. But it's showing 2027 is going to be in Birmingham. So this is all about changing lives and saving lives. Let's click on aims and origins so we can get just a
So The Hague is in the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay, I'm close. I'm closer than I thought it was going to be. I feel good about that. Ooh. Okay. So as you're seeing pictures here, there's
Mr. Prince himself.
Oh, there he is. I love it. So through sport, we change lives and save lives. So returning from, I'm going to read the screen for those who can't see it. Returning from deployment in Afghanistan, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, watched as the coffin of a Danish soldier was loaded aboard for repatriation alongside 3 injured British soldiers. That moment had a profound impact on him, and following a visit to the U.S. Warrior Games in 2013, he was inspired to create the International Invictus Games to celebrate the unconquered human spirit and shine a spotlight on these men and women who served. The Invictus Games Foundation offers a recovery pathway for international wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women. We collaborate to provide opportunities for post-traumatic growth, enabling those involved to reclaim their purpose, identity, and future beyond injury. So this is all servicemen and women from across the globe and showing what they can do. I mean, sports are for everyone, really. I mean, that's been our history for how long here when we do all of our adaptive water skiing. We 100% believe in this, and we've seen what an impact participating in sports can do for people, whether or not they ever thought they could. They can. And that's where when I see what this is all focused on our wounded, injured soldiers, oh my gosh, how awesome is this? So that is, it's coming to Vancouver, which is like just north of Washington State. It's not that far away. They are going to be there in February, so it's coming up real quick. And the Disability Channel, we do a lot with the Disability Channel. They actually are going to be part of the coverage of the event. They are all of the media end of it that is adaptive in any way, shape, or form, making it for literally everybody. So I'm sure it's going to be covered on all sorts of different platforms, but including the Disability Channel is perfect. It makes so much sense. And my understanding is our very own Jay Stoyan, he's the guy with the Disability Channel. He created it. I believe he actually is going to get to interview Prince Harry himself. So I'm like, that would be so cool.
I don't think I would be afraid to, because I'd probably not be prim and proper and be like, "What's up, bro?"
You know, they're there's rules, and I don't know what they are either. But I tell you, if I had that opportunity, I'd find out.
Well, it's good to reconnect with you. I have to go jump off in a meeting and save the world, I think, or eat a donut, one of the two.
As long as you're wearing a cape, you're good. You know.
Right?
Be
Awesome.
the superhero you are.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
You too. And
we'll catch
see
up
you again soon, I hope. Thank
Yes,
you so much.
absolutely. Absolutely.
catching
Have a
up.
good one.
Bye for now.
Bye.
So we are so really privileged to have Derek joining us here like he does. I know he hops in pretty often with World of Ability on Saturdays, and I can't say enough good things about him. He is a rock star. Done so many good things for so many people. He has helped out in so many ways. He's helped us a ton. I've learned a lot from him, and he's an inspiration. Not many guys around like him. He runs a school. He was telling me how he's had like different challenges with housing based on tornado and flooding, and there's been some unique things going on in his corner of the world, and he still makes time to come on and participate with us here. I can't say enough good things about him. So if anyone would like to reach out and talk to him directly, I'd be happy to connect you. He really is a solid, wonderful person. And I sure hope someday I get to actually meet him in person. This virtual world we have is amazing, right? It's, I'd say, when 2020 happened, when we all of a sudden were at home all the time, the world for a brief time felt very distant, right? And then all of a sudden, the world got real small, real tiny, because we all figured out how to do this, be on Zoom. And I have more friends across the planet today than what I did before the whole COVID thing happened, because the world literally got smaller. There's so much happening. There's so many good things going on. We've been reaching out for a long time with the whole World of Ability platform, and it's amazing how far it's gone. There are people literally, like I said, across the world who know about this, who support this, who've been guests with us, and that support and basically acknowledgement of what we're doing it's important. That's why we're here, because this is important. Being able to showcase abilities is important. It's something that, unless you have a reason why you've thought about this, usually people don't think much about it. You know, we're all in our own bubble, right? Who doesn't live in their own little bubble? We're all very much in our own little bubble, and our bubbles interact with other people's bubbles. You know, whether it's in person, online, whatever, we all are interacting in whatever fashion that is. And as that happens, the world becomes smaller, and we get to learn from others. People get to learn from us. And you know, if your sphere that you're working in happens to not have individuals that you are aware of any disabilities, I'd say that's pretty unusual, but it's out there. You know, some people might be scared of what they don't know. That's a thing too, isn't it? Until you have some reason why you come across whatever the disability, and it could be a mental disability, it could be a physical disability. The whole concept of disability hits such a wide range of possibilities that it's almost hard to say. You know, I don't think anybody really can much say these days if they don't know anybody with a disability, because it's pretty common. Like a quarter of our population has some sort of disability, and I might know how to relate to somebody who's in a wheelchair better than I know how to relate to somebody who maybe has a mental disability of some sort. But it's all based on your own experience so far, right? We do better with things we've already dealt with because we've already been there. We've had that experience. But others haven't had the experience we've had. I haven't had the experience of what's it actually like to be in a wheelchair all the time. I have not had that experience. I've done different things in wheelchairs and have experienced what it's like to sit in one and roll around. And I've even played wheelchair sports. But I have that luxury of being able to get up and walk away from that afterwards. And others don't have that same ability to do that. We have a local group here. So we're in the Milwaukee area, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there's a group that's local here that is called the Ability Center. Perfect, right? And the gentleman who's been behind that whole push and that all the things with that and has done so much for this area in the whole having things be adapted and ability friendly, so that for example, there is a park that is being constructed that is a universal park. So literally anyone can do any of the things there, whether you're walking there, rolling there, whatever you are, whatever your ability is. It physically is a place where you can use everything that's there. There are no curbs to hop over to get to the swings, and within the swings, there's different types of swings where somebody can sit on one, somebody can be in a wheelchair on one. It's for everybody. What a concept, right? That I really do hope is going to be a model for far and beyond what it is here now. That is something that is becoming more and more prevalent, in part because people are noticing. People are realizing the importance of that and are starting to, I think, be more open to differences and trying to be more inclusive. But I still go back to, it all goes back to what is our own experience so far. What my experience has been is vastly different from the first person I see if I was to go to the store. We all have different backgrounds, we all have different encounters, experiences, and that's where having something like World of Ability here and existing gives a place for our experiences to be shared and for support to take place, because I'm not going to live long enough to experience all the things that I could be experienced across the planet. And it's just, that's the way it is. You literally can't do everything. I'm not going to know what it's like to have cerebral palsy, because that's just not where I am. That's not my experience of life. One of my really good friends, that is his experience. He doesn't know what it's like to walk on his own 2 feet. He's always had to be in a wheelchair because his muscles don't let him do otherwise. It was a big deal the day that he got a wheelchair that actually had the mechanisms in it. I mean, it's a power wheelchair. This particular wheelchair that he got years ago had the ability to stand him up. Like literally, he's still strapped to the wheelchair, supporting him so that he's not like falling out of it. But he has the ability in that particular chair to actually stand up. Now, when I first heard that, I had that moment of, why would he need that, right? Well, duh. There's so many reasons. Everything from being able to have a conversation with another person eye to eye instead of from a seated position to a standing, for being able to see what's out the window when there's something going on outside and you can't see from a seated position. You can actually stand up. What about, it stretches the muscles. It gives the muscles in your legs a different position to be in. That's a real healthy thing, to be able to move that way. There's a lot of stuff that, unless you've had that experience, that reason to think about it, it's not necessarily something that's going to be occurring to you. Why this is needed, why it exists, what is this for? So I think so for me, having World of Ability and having this place where we can share out information, where we can share experiences, share stories, share successes, share failures. I mean, well, not everything in life is a success, right? Things don't always go the way you plan. I might be going for this, whatever this is, and I might end up over here instead because, that just wasn't going to happen. That doesn't mean it's necessarily a failure. It just means we had to change direction because that was not where we're going. Well, I think back in 1990, when the Americans with Disabilities Act began, when that first was turned into law, well overdue. So glad that happened. We celebrate that every year because it's a big deal. And it's one of those things, though, unless you're in that position and understanding things like wood cutouts or ramps to go into a building. And I tend to fall back to that type of thought process of things where the ADA actually made a difference, because that was a pretty prevalent thing where, buildings have to adjust. Like the building itself has to physically have an adjustment made so that a wheelchair user can access their building. Can you imagine serving your country in the military in some fashion, whatever that might be, and unfortunately being injured, and now we're a wheelchair user, and your whatever state you're from, your particular lawmaker is in a building that you can't get in. You are now you served your country. You almost given your life. I mean, gave to the point of injured, and now in a wheelchair forever because of whatever that injury was. And you can't even go in person to have a conversation with the lawmaker that is making decisions about your well-being, whatever that might look like, and you can't get in the building to see him. Doesn't seem right, does it? That's what it took. That. I know a lot of veterans were involved in literally crawling up the steps to the Capitol building to prove the point and to show that importance of why passing the Americans with Disabilities Act was such a big deal. And it is something that I hope we can continue to celebrate and build from and build and build and build and keep building in the right direction. The anniversary date for that being passed into law is January 26th. So that is a date that's forever here. And I hope people can remember that is something to be celebrated. When they had the 20th anniversary of that event, this event obviously in 2010, that was a time where celebrations took place across the country. There was a bus, like a coach bus, that was painted, and it had. I actually would have to go look at the picture again to tell you what the side of the bus said, but it was all about celebrating the Americans with Disabilities Act and being the 20th anniversary. They were calling it ADA 20, and since then, 25, 30. It's celebrated every year, and you can go find that logo that's ADA, and then whatever our anniversary of the year is of its passage. That's something you can find because it's that big a deal. That bus that took, I believe it was for several months, drove around the country, and there were celebrations taking place in different locations. There was one in Madison. We were there. It was awesome. For those that are familiar with the Shakedown, I believe, actually, I'm trying to think if I'm crossing two different events in my head right now. I know there's been multiple events that have taken place out in Madison where we've met up with Mark Loffenberg, one of our main guys that is with us for the Shakedown every day. What's the Shakedown? I'll come back to it. But I know, actually, I don't think it was him that we saw at that event. I believe it was actually another gentleman that we knew from the spinal cord injury group out in Madison. I believe it was Mike. I think I'm actually conflicting two different events in my head. But to have an excuse to get people together for a celebration, for such an amazing event, that bus, like I said, toured around the country. It had that stop in Madison. It did come to Milwaukee as well. I know we were at, I believe it was at the Harley Davidson Museum in downtown Milwaukee. And that event we stepped in. We weren't able to stay very long for that one, but what a great way to publicize. See that big bus going around the country, and to be able to look at that and be like, oh, what? Wait, the what? That's it. I'm so glad they did that. I hope that something like that happens again as they do future planning for one of the big anniversary years again. Because let's see, so this is 2025, right? So this would be the 35th anniversary years this year. Makes me wonder. I'll have to go take a look at that later to see if they have some extra big celebrations going on. Because really, when that event happened, when the 20th anniversary was being planned and celebrated and all of that, that's when a lot of this all started for us. We've always been, adaptive water skiing. That's been a thing for us for decades. That one, I think, is kind of luck of the draw that it was a thing with our local ski club, water ski club, that had always been an event that took place in the summertime. And we have a day where the sit ski comes out and it's a party on the lake with using our sit ski, with using paddle boats. They always had a pontoon boat out there. I'm not sure if they had canoes. I'm trying to think what all was out there. Actually, like blow up kind of inflatable inner tube type style that can be pulled behind a boat as well. Lots of different activities, right? Big picnic, big party at the lake. And it was all adaptive, everything. And it is from back then, like I was saying, with the 88, that 20th anniversary, Kurt at that time was doing a lot with Independence First, which is a Milwaukee organization. Independence First, it's a great organization that helps people with all sorts of disabilities, whatever that may be, and they are an amazing resource. Just absolutely unbelievable. You need something, they can help you figure out what that is, what that looks like, what to do. They're such a great resource. So they were doing a lot already with planning celebration things, and Kurt had the idea of Ability Fest. That we need to have a festival of some sort, right? Imagine that. Kurt thought about a festival. He is all about the party, about celebrating, about doing things big. He made Ability Fest happen. That took place at one of the parks, one of the Milwaukee County parks, and there was music, there were vendor booths set up, there was a cake, there was wheelchair sports, there was so much, there were speakers, it was a big, fun event, and we met so many good people. That is when the idea first surfaced about having the radio show, because of a gentleman that we met at that event who happened to have a show that he's doing at River West Radio. And he said, hey, Kurt, what you're doing, have you ever considered doing something on the radio? That's where a team came together. One of the people that was big on the team at that time as well, when that radio show first began, was a lovely lady from the area here named Dawn Green. And she became part of that team. We got to know her actually kind of by accident, so to speak. She was at that celebration event, and her ride was late. So we talked just because of timing. It worked out. We had this amazing connection, conversation, and she is known as the Avid Lady Advocate because she is just if you haven't come across her yet in all the things we've done, look her up. Look up the early shows that were done with the radio show, with River West Radio. And for a while, she had her own, and she herself had a show as well. But she was part of the team that we worked with, Adam and Jory and Kurt and Mickey and Dawn. That was that core team that put on the radio show when it first started. And I actually wasn't much involved at that time. I was very much behind the scenes and often not even there. We had a toddler at the time, so I was doing that end of things. I was doing what I could from a little distance. And now over the years, it also went, that show went from being once a month to when, as things changed, when COVID hit, that all of a sudden turned into once a week because we no longer were going to the station in person. We're doing it on Zoom, just like this. And the way it all came together, it worked out to be able to do it once a week. So that once a month show turned into a once a week show. And Kurt hosted it pretty much on his own for, I'm not even sure, a couple of years probably. And then in the last couple, 3 years, I'm not even sure what the timeline is now, I've taken over as hosting with that one. And we're still every Wednesday night. That is our commitment. We produce Ability MKE now. And here, I'm gonna actually change my little background here so that give me a second here. Change my background so you can see. When we are doing Ability MKE now, that's the show. We always make sure to have the Disability Channel website up there and River West Radio. I cannot thank them enough for all they've done for us. I don't know that we would ever have really gone down this whole path where we do podcasting and do all the things we do here if it wasn't for this first beginning with River West Radio. Pretty amazing, actually. And then Fred's, where life takes you, you never know exactly where things are going to go. Might have an idea in mind. You may end up there, you may end up in a different place. I never pictured that I'd be doing this kind of thing. If you would have asked me this 10 years ago, if I would ever be doing podcasting, radio shows, any of that, I think you were nuts because I just didn't see that. But look at this. I'm actually going to do one more thing. I'm going to share one more screen. Let me pull it up. And so YouTube, obviously we have a YouTube channel. And I'm going to pull that on up here. It is called Ability Network. Let me bring that up and then I will share my screen. Here we go. Sharing. And boom, there it is. So we've been doing this for a very long time. And this is one of those things that I have not done the best job of sharing the actual website of our channel. Because look at this, we have 1,600 videos on the website. So, I mean, just gobs of information. And really, really good stuff throughout. Lots of different shows. We have playlists because we have quite a few different shows that we've helped produce over the years. But we only have 163 subscribers. And I look at that and think of all the people we've had on with us. And that number, personally, I think it's laughable because we've easily had 1,000 people that have been guests on our show. And we failed to actually ask them to subscribe. So if anybody's listening right now, I am outright asking. There's great content coming out of here, great guests, good stuff going on. And this is the link at Ability Network. Go there, hit that subscribe button. It would just be right here, the button says subscribe. If you can see I'm live streaming now, and that's a lovely picture going on there. Yep. So you can see we do Shakedown every day. And there's a little glimpse of what it looks like. Shakedown, if you're not familiar with that, it literally is 15 minutes of music in motion. We show up every day at 12 o'clock noon to get moving. I've said that more times than I can count. And oh, look at that, we're all doing the wave. It's simple motions. I'm going to go ahead and leave my cursor so you can see a little bit more, but it's simple things that we do. It's not difficult. Whoever comes does it to the best of their ability. We have different various abilities of people that are there. Some people are able-bodied. Some people have spinal cord injuries. Some people have like MS. I know I've got a few people that fall into that category. They're there because they found out about it from the guy who started it, Jim Turk, because he's the guy that has MS and shared this with with all the people that he knew. Shakedown started when COVID hit because Jim was saying with the decrease in activity, not going into work every day, he was finding that it was a struggle to keep his mobility where he wanted it and keep his keeping himself physically active enough to keep the abilities he had. He came up with shaking, like percussion shaking. He's a drummer. He runs drum circles. So something like shaking. I don't have anything with me right where I'm sitting, but he has on the Facebook group for the shakedown. There's a pinned post on there for how you can make your own shaker. Everybody's got a little bottle of some sort at home, whether it's like an old vitamin bottle or pill bottle or a little Tupperware container, something. Just throw some rice or beans or something easy in there. And now, guess what? Now you have a shaker. You put something in your hands and you can make your own music as you go. You now have a shaker. That's where the idea of shakedown came from. And we set a timer, 15 minutes. When 15 minutes is up, we stop. We just go for the 15. And then we do fun stuff after that, because as you can see in Mark's background there, he's got some pictures of whatever the celebration is that day. Sometimes he's got 15 different things behind him. Sometimes he's got 3, like on that one. It is all based on what is the thing to celebrate that day. There's something to celebrate every day. There's national holidays and like the goofiest things you could ever imagine. We've now learned about, because there's celebrations, like official celebrations of something every day. I should actually go ahead and here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to pop up the Facebook page from today so we can see what today's work is. I've been talking enough here. I can't think of what they are right now. So Facebook, 12 o'clock shakedown, and this will help too. I can share with you how to find the Facebook group as well. So let me go back and share my screen again here. And voila, 12 o'clock shakedown. So if you look at the address here, facebook.com/12 o'clock shakedown, literally like one big long word. And if you found, that's Jim. Jim is in the orange shirt there. And when he was doing this, he'd always do something fun and goofy hat, goofy glasses, something, keeping it fun. And I gotta say, I'm a little sad we've gone away from that. We haven't done so much of that lately. Maybe it's time to get that going again. That said, as you scroll down, well, first of all, you can follow this. We currently have 409 followers. Go ahead and follow this page, because then you'll have the opportunity to be notified when we go live, because we go live, as you can see. 2 hours ago we were live on here. We are there every day, like 365. We are always, every day somebody's on here doing this. I'd say in the last 4 years, I bet you can count on one hand the number of days where we did not have one that was live. It happens where, if there's a system glitch or there's some it's a rare day that nobody is available to actually do this. So this was literally earlier today. And we always take a picture at the end too, and you can see who was all there that day, and well, at least for the most part, and what to celebrate. So like today is National Hot Toddy Day. It is Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friend Day. It is National Milk Day. It is Human Trafficking Awareness Day. And then you also see pictures on here. Those are musicians who happen to also have birthdays today. Excuse me. So as you scroll down, we do take a picture every day and post that. Okay, this was sad. Yesterday, I was a total dork. I've been doing this every day for months and months and months, and I managed to forget to share my screen. So usually you see the little live screen with all of our little pictures in there with whoever happens to be there that day. If you wanted to follow along and do this after the fact, yesterday's was not the best choice because there's no picture until the very, very end when I realized I was a dork. But you know what? If you can't make it at 12 o'clock noon, and that's Central Time Zone, by the way, you can't make it, go to here. You can either go on here to the Facebook group and pick any of these from any day. If you got a particular day that was your favorite music, whatever, pick that one and play it and do it when it works for you. That's what it's all about. You got to do what works for you, and we make it available here. We make it available on our World of Ability podcast network on YouTube. We make it available as much as we can so that people can participate when it works for them. And that's what it's all about. We want to make things accessible. We want to make things available. And that's what we're doing. So the more people that can take advantage of that, the better. Because we're not, well, I guess we are. I was going to say we're not doing it for our own health, but yeah, we are. We're doing it for our own good. I move. I get up and get moving every day at 12 o'clock noon, whether I'm in the mood for it or not. Because you know what? Sometimes I'm in the middle of work and I got to keep, no, I'm taking a break for me. You can do that too. It's huge. 15 minutes is not much, right? Everybody can pull out 15 minutes and just stop what you're doing and take care of you for a little bit. And it's not hard. What we do like little arm circles or shake up high, shake down low. We roll up and roll down. Lots of things, mostly arms. That a good majority of what we do is arm kind of motions. We try to take a minute or less to make sure we get legs in there as well. But for the most part, we work arm stuff and do our best to keep it fun. So I'm going to throw out there, if you have any ideas for different moves, tell me. I've been doing the same moves. We do a different order all the time, but a lot of it's a similar order. You kind of know it's like we do our air push-ups. Now we're going to do barbell. Some things we definitely have a routine for, just to make it a little easier to follow along. But I try to do a different order every day, try to make it go with the music. I'll also get the ask out there if anybody has copyright-free music sources. Jim was amazing and had a bazillion songs that we could use for years, and that is gone. that particular account doesn't exist now, and I'm finding that has been my biggest struggle now since that happened, was just coming up with music that doesn't have copyright. We don't want to. We're not taking advantage of people's music out there. We love being able to use music that we all know, and that makes it fun to dance to that stuff and do our workouts to that. But then you got things like YouTube and Facebook who think we're trying to scam people. It's like we're not trying to do anything to take their music for our own good, for our own profit or anything. But we get copyright infringement notices if we use music that has a copyright on it. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to cause trouble. That's not what we're doing at all. We just want to be able to enjoy the music and do our moves and all the things that we do with that. So I've been doing my best to come up with music that does not have a copyright. So I'm putting that challenge out there. If you have any music that would be appropriate, please share it with me. I would love to have different sources for that, because that actually, of all things, has been my most challenging piece lately, is just to figure that out. So I'm going to leave that out there as a challenge for all of our listeners to help me with that part. And to come and join the fun. Realistically, it's a great group. We have fun. I see the same people every day at noon, and we keep coming back because we enjoy it. We appreciate each other. And, I know, like, through COVID, when we were all stuck at home, it was a chance to have something you could count on every day where you could check in with people and make sure everybody's doing good, right? What a great group. We are open, we are accepting, we love to have people come and join us. So if that is of interest at all, please come and join us. We could always use more. I would love to see 50 people on the screen. How cool would that be? That'd be amazing. I've always been surprised that we haven't grown faster than what we have. We every so often somebody new comes and joins in the group, and the timing maybe doesn't work. I never know exactly what is best, but we do it when we do it for us, and that's where it is. So I do see phone number popping in here, and I am not sure who's on the phone, so I'm going to check and see once they have sound. Welcome. We are live with World of Ability, and I see the phone number 754 coming on in here. Can I ask who that is? If you're able to unmute it all, but just curious if you are wanting to be a guest on the show here. Just want to make sure to say hi. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I know I told Emily, I said, we should get closer, become more family. And yeah, and I just realized what time it was. So I quick, let me connect.
Fabulous. Well, Barbara, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This is Sue, and actually it's just me today. So we had a couple of guests on earlier, but I've just been talking a bit about the shakedown, and I love that you're here. What's been happening in your corner of the world?
Let me think. Well, actually, there's some amazing things. There's the Church of Perpetual Life, and those are the people that created Life Extension. The book a long time ago, they came out with Life Extension, I believe, and they have a magazine that goes out, I think, monthly, but they have get-togethers once a month where many people come from many different places who feel like they're on the front lines of life extension and things that we can do now to extend life. Some people call themselves, immortalists, right? But it's wonderful because people that have a lot of fortune, so they create like this wonderful, healthy meal and, treat everybody to, like a great party. And just so that they can share what they know about people living longer. So that's a really nice thing to know about. That's in this area. And a couple of things, Zen Mystery that has an open mic. That's in this area. And there's wonderful fruit, man, in Florida, west from the ocean. There's such wonderful fruit that exists that most people don't even know about, tropical fruits. And my friend who's basically a fruitarian, we go and like a big pod of cacao, raw cacao beans, will last me a week, And people don't know that what's really wonderful about the cacao beans is the white fruit that surrounds the bean. That's just awesome. It's kind of like milk chocolate naturally.
And I'm not familiar with this at all. I'm so glad you're sharing this.
Mm-hmm. And there's black sapote and people that want to be vegan or more animal friendly. They'll make the most wonderful chocolate milk out of mixing up the black sapote with some honey dates that are so sweet and maybe some cocoa butter, something like this. And it tastes so good and it's, cruelty free and it's good for your body. And, it's nice. More people need to know about the fruits that grow here, the sapote and rose apples and the longans that are very cheap and quench thirst amazingly. I'm not sure why, but and on the tree they don't look like a beautiful fruit. They look kind of woody, but when you open them up, some wonderful, strong seeds there that you put them near the ground, it seems like, and they'll start growing roots and growing themselves. So there's that here.
It would be fun someday to be able to have pictures or video of these different types of fruits that can be described, because the ones you're talking about, I have not ever encountered. Mm-hmm. And it'd be fun to be able to see all that. And so what is your favorite one? Is there anything in particular that's around there that you consider as a favorite or favorites?
Oh, I like persimmons. I like the sapotes. I like the lychees and their cousin, the rambutans. and the Logans. Yeah, they're just all like, wonderful, wonderful foods that make you feel good, that, they're good for you and bringing good things into your body. And, I think so many young people right now, I watch growing up on chicken nuggets and french fries, right? A lot of toddlers, that's what they want. And Michelle Obama had a program where she wanted, like, elementary school kids would come into their cafeteria and they would be offered things like raspberries, things that they might not always have at home, to introduce them to fresh fruit. But the problem was the way the idea was wonderful, but the delivery was the women who were offering the food out from, the kitchens of the elementary schools. The fruit wasn't ripe. So then it would be bitter, it would be like too tart. So the kids would go, ew, this isn't good, And so, yeah, I think that program should continue, but with a little more supervision.
Actually, I know a lot of that was happening when our daughter was at that age too, of going through school, and they've had the lunch program. I remember her telling stories too about how they were, when they got hot lunch, they had to take the fruit or vegetable, whatever it was that day. And so it was sad how much of it ended up actually in the trash because they didn't like it and weren't that purpose was like, that breaks my heart. Yeah,
the branding,
serving. Like, I can't believe. I'm so glad that Michelle Obama did go ahead and push for better foods to be made available like that, because that, you're right, definitely the right idea. At the same time, how is it possible then? I was always blown away to hear if they would have options of like either the hot lunch or a bistro box. And some days the meal item, like the main item in that bistro box, was like a Pop-Tart. I'm like, wait, what? How is that a good choice? That's one of those. It's like a lot of the choices were good, but there were days where either Pop-Tart or I forget what there was another one that was a common one that I actually can't even think what it is now, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Makes those decisions,
My daughter was a vegetarian, and what would happen is the other kids would want her lunch because they knew she wasn't going to eat it. So they're like, can I have your sandwich? Can I have? So she was being left with, it was terrible. It was like potato chips, white bread. So I wrote an 8-page letter and I sent it to the person who was in charge of all the cafeterias for Broward County. I sent it to the people who were in charge of the kitchens, and I sent it to her teacher, to try to make a difference, right? And what happened, and a difference did happen, it's like if she said, oh, I want this salad, but the dressings they would have would be like mostly sugar, right? Like if you read the ingredients in it. So the difference is, I did see them start over the years, not so much, for my daughter's time, but I was asked to get into politics, and I wish I had. I didn't take myself seriously enough, but
I can, that's a hard step to take. There was a time, how many years ago? 15, 18 years ago, I had been asked at one point too about stepping into a local politic position. Like, at first I'm thinking, oh, that'd be awesome, and then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't think I want that exact responsibility. As much as I can imagine being able to make a difference in some areas, I also picture how much of it would be somebody calling up and complaining about stuff that I have no control over and no way to make a difference. And it ended up not going that route. But I don't know. I'll never know if that was actually my best choice or not, to have not done that. So I find that interesting. You had a similar thing where somebody was asking about you going into that arena as well.
Yeah, I wish, I knew how to like clone myself or something so I could like try all these different things. If I went down that road, what would have happened? And if I did this, and I get to see the reality of all that.
100% with you.
Mhm.
Because even at the beginning of the show, I was talking a little bit about the history of it, and I think what the number of people that I've gotten to know doing this,
Mhm.
and what an amazing group of people that I don't know if I ever would have had a way to meet
Mhm.
for this. Barbara, I'm so glad you come and join us. It's such a pleasure to get to hear stories and different experiences that you've had that I've never had. And that's how we learn. That's how we grow. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And Mason Ann, she wasn't a psychiatrist, but she studied under a psychiatrist. She was a writer, and she believed that if two people were sharing an idea, that it's like the 100 monkeys syndrome thing. It goes out through the collective consciousness of everybody. So maybe we're making a greater cause than we even realize right now, just talking to each other. Mm.
Yeah, and actually, I gotta thank you because you've been joining us here. How long has it been? I know it's been a long time, and I don't even know how we first connected.
At least 5 years through Helen Weaver.
Oh, that's the connect. Okay. It's been threads, right?
Yeah.
Somebody introduces somebody, and some people you meet once for 5 minutes, and others you get the pleasure of talking to. It might be once a week for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm glad I know you and your husband. I'm glad I know your family.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And okay, so now you're in Florida right now, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what is it like there right now? Because it's all of like 29 degrees here today, and it feels kind of nice compared to what we've had lately. What's it like down in Florida right now?
Let me see. Well, today it's a little overcast. Today it is. And let me try to find the degrees. Usually I'm in the ocean every Saturday morning before the sun comes up. But
oh my gosh. That's a little chilly.
And you know what? It doesn't feel that. It's like when I take a bath, a shower in hot water, and then I rinse myself off in cold water because it's supposed to raise your IQ, and it never feels bad. It always feels like when we go in the ocean, the feeling is more like exhilarating, it's like stimulating, it's titillating, it's all those words about, it feels wonderful. It feels like you're more alive, you're more awake. It doesn't feel like pain or discomfort. It's interesting. People don't realize that. People are so like, no, I'll be cold. But that's not really the feeling that you get. You're familiar with the Iceman. Here's something to okay, it's 72 degrees right now here.
I can imagine 72 right now.
It's nice. It's always nice to go outside here. And when it's hot, there's all this water around, pools and ocean and all to jump into. So yeah, that's temperature here.
So I should ask, have you ever been up in the North Woods like us here when in the middle of the winter where you can actually like drive a vehicle across a frozen lake?
Well, I've never driven the vehicle across a frozen lake. I have not done that. But
put that on your bucket list.
I have. I don't think I have. I think it's in my memory anywhere. But I did get to go backpacking in the Ozark Mountains in the middle of winter. Ooh. And yeah, we had a sleeping bag and we had a tent. His friend, because I said, as a little kid, my family would go to the beach here in Florida, and they'd leave the car parked on the asphalt, right in the parking lot, all locked up. And we'd go back to the car after a couple hours, and it would be like, oh, it's so hot, it's hot. But my grandmother, she would go into it and she'd go, it's a mahaya, which means it's a blessing. It feels good. And I'd look at the grown-ups and the looks on their faces would say, I want to do what that grown-up's doing. I want to relate to that, you know? So this friend said, all right, now I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how good the cold can be. And we went to the Ozark Mountains. And I know I was in, there was like ice on the lake and snow on the mountains. And I go into a stream, you know, I'm bathing myself in a stream. And I tell my friend, look, I'm not getting frostbite, you know, I'm not even red, I'm not white, I'm not, you know, I just feel really, really good. And he said, but I have to show you something. He said, before we leave, you know, for our next spot, you got to get in your sleeping bag for like 5 minutes. So I go back, I get in the sleeping bag, and I get like convulsive for like a minute or two. But it wasn't painful, it was interesting, you know. But I do get like, and then he said, so you pushed yourself beyond a natural limit for you. So now you have to let your body adjust itself. And now we can go on and you continue to feel so healthy and so refreshed. Where if I didn't take that time, he thought, to let my body catch up with how I had pushed it, then I might have gotten sick, you know, and it would have been hard. So I thought that's an interesting lesson that people should know, should learn from. And I like that how to win friends and influence people. He did a study on what the military studied how the heart that keeps beating our whole lives without stop, right? How it keeps going, how it rests itself. And then they got the military men who were working to get on that kind of a schedule with like pushing with work, you know, and then rest. And they got much more work done and felt much better doing it, following the natural rhythms of how the heart works. So I know I read that. I'm sure you know the name of the person I'm talking about. He wrote how to win friends and influence people, and he got,
like Dale Carnegie, I think, is the
there
guy
you
who
go.
wrote that one. Yep.
That's it, Dale Carnegie. Yeah. So yeah, under him and his studies, you'll find that study. I believe so. Yeah, if we could just take all these things that people have learned already and then bring them into our lives, implement them, then, you know, society would advance much more quickly, I think, than it's doing. But, you know, most people know the name Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. You know, and speaking of friends, we do have one more friend that's, well, actually, I have a couple friends who are joining us here. I see Mark Laufenberg has joined us in the background as well. So, Mark, I just want to give you the chance. If you wanted to say hello, I would love to say hello to you here today, too. How are you?
Okay, yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, I was on a couple of phone calls. Thought I'd join here.
Love it. I actually was talking about the shakedown just before Barbara came on, and we got Barbara on here as well. And I love your background, Mark. I wonder if you want to share a little bit about what that's all about. I know I actually talked about it a little bit earlier, but nothing better than having you on the screen than having all the goodies behind you.
Oh, well, every day I put up a background of a few musicians who have birthdays and also some of the holidays that are being celebrated today, whether it's well, Hot Toddy Day or National Milk Day. And I always try to start with some important ones. Stop Human Trafficking Day. And then have some of the fun ones at the end. And I don't know, I got started just with a few musicians and then a couple of corny things. People seem to like it, so I kind of kept doing it and expanded it a bit.
He's humored us well for years at this point. We appreciate it. Yeah, so that's part of when we do the shakedown. Literally 12 o'clock noon central every day. Every day. We even did it on Christmas. I mean, every day. we come in. And
So I'm wondering if you're 12 o'clock noon central, where does that put me on Eastern Standard Time? That would put me
that would be 1 o'clock for you.
Oh man, that's why I miss it.
There you go.
Oh yeah, it happens at 12. It's a 12 o'clock
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern, so that would 2 hours earlier for Pacific, for anybody who's listening up California or anywhere up that direction that are 10 a.m. out there. But yeah, it's open to everybody. So anybody who wants to come and just, I said, it's shake, across the middle, roll up, and pull back. I mean, it's easy kind of motions, and you do what you can do. Everybody's got different ranges of motion for different, whatever. Just do what works for you. I do my best to come up with stuff to do, and I'm open to suggestions. Got any new moves for me? We're always looking for shaking it up, shake up the shakedown. There we go. But it's just to have some fun and get moving. And then we get to find out what to celebrate. We do some community announcements. We announce that this takes place every Saturday, and we've got different shows that we help out with throughout the week. And we, as kind of collectively, I know Kurt and Emily do a lot of the behind the scenes pieces or front of the scene, depends on what the show is. But helps out with we've got something on the books literally every day of the week. So there's always something to tune into if you're looking for something to do. And if there's a particular topic that's of interest, you can always go back and find it on the YouTube channel. And we're just doing our best to get good news, good info, good stuff out there. And that's why we're here. And we hope that's what keeps people coming back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for being you.
Oh, well, yeah. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the amazing friends that we've met along the way and the support that's come along with everything. And I know that like Marianne of Waikiki was on earlier, and I know she was asking about us playing a song at the end. Maybe now would be a good time for me to.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a song that she has, with her book, right? With her books.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I've heard it once before.
Here, hold on. I'm not seeing the right. I gotta pull up my screen. 1 second. I thought I had it open. That's where you realize I've got way too many tabs open. So this one. Okay. Let me go back and share my screen so you guys can see and hear it. And then if you have any comments after, by all means. Hang on 1 sec. Sharing the wrong thing. Fingers are faster than here. You know what though? I didn't see there's a button about sharing the sound, and I did not see that. Let me just make sure I've got. There it is. Yep, that wouldn't have worked. Sharing sound. There we go. Okay, make this nice and big. And if you can't hear it, let me know right away, and I'll fix it. Here it is. Love is the Only Way by Lucy Lynch.
Yeah, good song.
Is the only way. Love is the only way. Love is the only way. Take a breath. Let it be alright. Take a breath. Let it be enough right now. Let this moment be what it is. Let this moment be your doorway to bliss. seeking love, 'cause it's seeking you, seeking light, 'cause light is you, finding ways to let your heart beat, finding ways to let your heart beat. And love is the only way, love is the only way, love is the only way. Love is the only way, love is the only way, love is the only way. And then make a move now. Let your spirit groove now. Let your heart be open. Let it be alright. And let your love shine bright. Let your spirit fly. Let the moonlight find its way into your heart and your heart. Love is the only way. 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 And let your spirit soar. Let your soul seek more. Let your heart be open wide and realize that this moment has always been enough. Love is the only way. 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 It's the only way. I know.
That's so beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. It's exciting.
Oh, well, I'm going to give you guys each a chance. If you want to share any final thoughts, Barbara, any final
I'm
thoughts?
wondering how I can get that music onto my phone so I can share it with people.
You know what? I can actually grab the link that I had because that's on YouTube. So
Uh-huh.
let me see if I can pull the link from that and put it right in the chat here so that you have that at least.
Yeah.
Here we go. So there, I put that in the chat for you. And if you have any troubles at all, just give me a holler. I'd be happy to get it to you a different way if that's helpful to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank
Mark,
you.
how about you? Any final thoughts from you?
Well, I hope everyone has good health and a good day.
Excellent. Maybe a hot toddy? It's the day.
If that cures what ails you, by all means.
Well, this has been the World of Ability, and so glad to have you guys joining us here today. Mark, Barbara, earlier we had Marianne, we had Derek, and I'm always so grateful. We have such great support along the way, such good, wonderful people that we get to work with and have some fun conversations with. So with that, we look forward to next time. As always, we thank you.
Thank you. It takes one to see one. Thank you.
Love it. Okay, so live stream is off. It still says
recording stopped.
Oh, there we go. I hit the button. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.